Hello and welcome, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're diving into the field-tested innovations reshaping Australian animal rehabilitation and welfare in 2025. When I started in wildlife care, my most advanced tool was a kitchen scale. Now we're flying thermal drones, running point-of-care PCR in the field, and making genetic calls from whole genome data. But after working with more than 500 practitioners across rescue groups, clinics, zoos, and councils, here's the truth. The breakthroughs that matter aren't flashy, they're measurable. Faster triage, fewer complications, better release fitness, stronger post-release survival. What separates leaders isn't budget, it's discipline. The centers hitting 85% survival to release nail the fundamentals first. Standardized triage, consistent analgesia, under veterinary oversight, rigorous outcome tracking. Then they layer tech on top. That's where compounding gains happen. Let's start with the foundation. 5 interconnected levers driving Australian rehab now. First, prevention. Stop the injury, skip the treatment. Partner with councils to reduce vehicle strikes with targeted signage and virtual fencing on high-risk roads. Advocate for wildlife-friendly netting and fishing gear. Run heat wave readiness campaigns so communities know how to respond to thermal stress. Second, rapid triage. Safe capture, accurate assessment, immediate fluids and pain relief where indicated, under veterinary guidance, with protocols any trained responder can execute. Minutes matter. Centers that shave time off the first hour see it pay back through to release. Third, evidence-based treatment. Diagnostics, advanced wound care, and pain management aligned with state codes of practice, audited internally and refined through outcome data. Small shifts, earlier analgesia. Better fluid choice. Often move the needle more than expensive kit. Fourth, release readiness. No more looks good, hope for the best. Use species-specific conditioning and measurable benchmarks. Body condition, flight endurance for birds, climb and forage tests for arboreal mammals, predator awareness where appropriate, and behavior checks that mirror wild demands. Fifth, post-release monitoring. Telemetry and robust data loops that tell you what happened after the animal left your care. Survival, territory establishment, causes of failure. So you can adjust protocols. If you aren't measuring after release, you're guessing. Why this matters now, the stakes are higher. The Black Summer fires of 2019-20 affected an estimated 3 billion animals. In 2022, koalas in Queensland, New South Wales. And the ACT were listed as endangered under the EPBC Act, triggering new funding, research priorities, and stricter oversight. With more frequent extreme weather, surge capacity isn't a luxury, it's core business. Centers that thrive build adaptability into their design. Flexible housing, scalable volunteer training, and data systems that flag bottlenecks before they become crises. We also need to navigate a complex regulatory landscape. State-based standards like NSW standards for wildlife rehabilitation, Queensland's Code of Practice, and Victoria's minimum standards, plus controlled drug schedules and biosecurity. National reforms from the Samuel Review are pushing toward nature-positive frameworks with tighter reporting, clearer genetic management expectations, and better data sharing. Build robust data systems and standard protocols now to stay ahead. Waiting risks costly retrofits. On data. For years, we struggled to aggregate outcomes at scale. That's changing. Wildlife Health Australia's EWIS is maturing for wildlife disease and early threat detection. Rehab networks collecting structured case data, intake reasons, injury codes, treatment timelines, outcomes, and release criteria can now analyze patterns by season, region, and hazard type. Multi-center analyses show that a 20-minute improvement in triage to analgesia can outperform pricey equipment on survival. That's the power of consistent data. The game changer is predictive analytics. Leading centers use risk scoring at intake to guide decisions, not to deny care, but to match resources and escalate complex cases early. Think weight for age deviation, temperature, lactate, mechanism of injury, dehydration, rolled into a triage score predicting complexity and length of stay. Combined with standardized pain scores and species-specific release targets, you can plan caseload, reduce time in care, and improve welfare. So what's proven and practical in 2025? Thermal drones for search during heat waves and post-fire. With permits and strict flight protocols, they find distressed animals fast and reduce responder risk. The workflow matters. Drone spotters transmit precise GPS. Trained rescuers execute thermal-informed capture, and flight data feeds incident logs for review. Point-of-care diagnostics, portable ultrasound, lactate meters, and in some contexts, point-of-care PCR, especially for chlamydia screening in koalas under veterinary partnership, shorten time to decision and avoid unnecessary transfers. Pair with telemedicine so regional teams get specialist input in minutes. Advanced wound care that's simple and repeatable. Good debridement, moisture-balanced dressings, and solid infection control beat exotic treatments. Document wound photos against a standardized scale and link to healing time and release outcomes. You'll see patterns quickly. Telemetry for post-release. Lightweight GPS or VHF tags, ethically deployed, give you truth on survival and habitat use. Even 2 to 6 weeks of follow-up can reveal if conditioning is hitting the mark. If birds fail at specific foraging tasks, adjust pre-release training and try again. 3D printed splints and custom supports. Affordable, scalable, great for on-size patients. Better comfort and alignment, shorten recovery, and improve function. Data systems that start simple. A share cloud sheet with locked fields for intake condition, injury codes, treatment timestamps, and outcomes can transform practice. Mature into a case management platform that exports to WHA or your state database and set a monthly rhythm for data review and protocol updates. Release readiness checklists. Make them species-specific and visible. For flyers, sustained flight time, turn radius, stamina in a properly sized aviary. For macropods, measured hops, obstacle negotiation, socialization where appropriate. For arboreal mammals, climbing endurance, branch-to-branch agility, foraging independence. Use video where possible and only release with evidence. Implementation is where success lives. Standardized triage, pain scoring, and release criteria across your team. Train and audit to those standards. Build a lightweight data pipeline and appoint a data steward. Pick one innovation with a clear use case. Run a 90-day pilot with baseline metrics and measure the change. Wrap it all in ethical guardrails and compliance, permits, controlled drugs, biosecurity, and animal ethics approvals where required. Then, scale deliberately, one protocol at a time. Don't forget surge capacity. Heat waves, fires, and floods demand flexible housing that can scale in days. Volunteer training modules to spin up responders fast, and logistics plans for supplies and transport. Pre-pack capture kits, cache fluids, and PPE. Set a teletriage roster so first responders get senior support instantly. Rehearse with tabletop exercises to expose weak points before the real thing. What's next? Close but not yet plug and play. AI-assisted detection for scanning drone thermal footage, and software that flags abnormal gait or posture in rehab videos to predict musculoskeletal issues. Keep humans in the loop and guard privacy. Environmental DNA for detecting species and pathogens at release sites. promising for site selection and surveillance, but needs careful interpretation. Automated feeders with RFID to track individual foraging behavior pre-release, especially in birds. Great for quantifying readiness without constant human presence. A quick word on genetics. As more teams use whole genome or high-density SNP data to manage founder diversity, stay disciplined. Know when translocation risks outbreeding depression and when genetic rescue boosts resilience. Work with researchers, follow guidance, and document provenance meticulously. Through all of this, ethics are the backbone. Use tech to reduce stress and handling time, not add to it. Be transparent with your community about trials and why you're doing them. Report outcomes, good and bad, into your state system and WHA where appropriate. Celebrate wins, shorter stays, cleaner recoveries, stronger releases, and evidence that survival is improving. If you're just starting, here's your first 90 days. Agree on a triage checklist, a pain score, and 3 release criteria for your top 5 species. Build a simple intake-to-outcome spreadsheet with mandatory fields and train to it. Choose one innovation with immediate payoff, maybe portable ultrasound or a thermal drone partnership with your local SES, and run a structured pilot. Set a monthly data review and a quarterly after-action debrief. Connect with your state wildlife agency and Wildlife Health Australia so you're aligned on codes, reporting, and biosecurity. If you're seasoned, your edge this year is integration. Link triage timestamps to outcomes. Embed predictive scoring at intake. Expand telemetry on high-variance cases to close knowledge gaps. Map workflows to upcoming regulatory changes so you're not retrofitting under pressure. And invest in people. Data fluency, handling excellence, and ethical decision-making are still your highest ROI. The transformation underway is bigger than any single tool. It's a shift to evidence-based practice that redefines how we measure success, allocate resources, and save lives. When we get the fundamentals right and let innovation compound, we don't just release more animals. We release animals with the fitness and resilience to thrive. If you want a practical companion to this episode, check out our overview on wildlife first aid versus veterinary care in Australia. Thanks for listening and for the work you do. The challenges are real, but so are the gains when we focus on what's measurable, ethical, and truly impactful. Here's to the next decade of smarter, kinder, more effective wildlife care across Australia.